Hey folks, Jonathan here. Just to get everybody an update on this vehicle and what we're doing, and before I go ahead and start on it here. This is a rat rod I bought that had some major steering issues. That was the main thing that was wrong with it. It had a knock in the engine also, and we took care of that problem. The videos are on there if you want to look at them. Farther back, we found something on top of number 5 piston. Took care of it. Runs good, drives pretty good. Still not great. It kicks a little bit, which I've still got a little play in the steering, and we need to put a panhard bar on the rear end, but we're going to do that here soon. Steering gearbox I put on it was used, so it wasn't perfect, but used a 64 Chevrolet box, pickup box. I'm not sure what it had on it, but anyway, let me get to my point here. This is actually titled as and is a 2011 custom. The reason that I bought this, I usually don't buy cars that someone else has already done, or sometimes I'll buy them when they've started on them, but definitely not when they've finished them. But here's the deal on this car. I like the frame. You know, when I went to look at this car, the price was right. To me it was right. Maybe to you it wasn't, but to me it was. I was looking at the frame, fabrication, what kind of job they've done on it, the fact that they've got disc brakes on it, the fact that they've got shocks on it, knee action. They've got a SoCal steering dampener. The frame is really well built, boxed, factory, or not a factory Ford frame. I'm thinking that it's an aftermarket frame. I don't think they built it. They may have, but it looks more like something that was bought, you know, possibly from one of the manufacturers that's building these frames. But we'll know more when we get the body pulled off like we're going to do. But you know, there's little things that I may have done different if I would have built it, but they done a really good job frame wise. I really like it. Body wise, I like the front cowl, you know, 31 Ford. Had a few things I really did not like about this car. Windshield was number one. Did not like the windshield. I really don't like the rat rod part of guns on it, you know, all the stuff. There was a lot more stuff on it when I got it. I don't like the grill. I'm more of a, I think what we're trying to do is sort of change this into a hot rod from a rat rod. So I picked up that 5-window, 31 5-window body, Ford Coupe, and the whole plan with this is to make this into a 5-window coupe. And what we're going to do, the doors that are on this will go. These doors don't match. We did figure that out. The body lines are completely different from one side to the other. This back section, which is the side panels off of possibly a Model A, I'm not for sure, but the engine side covers. The back end, which is actually the tip of a 69 Camaro hood and 38 Chevrolet emblem, and you can see the back. Chevrolet engine, Ford cowl. They got Chevrolet lights, tail lights in it. So we're going to do a lot of changing on this whole back half. I'm not sure if we're going to leave the tank where it's at or remount or change, how we're going to do it, depending on how much room we have. The roll bar is going to come out. It's not much of a roll bar anyway. There's some rubber mounts that are, or bushings with shocks that are bad. The wiring, as you can see, it's got wire nuts on it. It, you know, looks like it was not done proper. Let's just put it that way. I was almost thinking that maybe somebody else had built the frame and suspension and all that, and then, you know, somebody that didn't care as much. I'm not going to say that they wasn't talented or anything like that. They just didn't seem to care as much, built the rest of the car. And one thing I didn't like, that, you know, I noticed the gap here, and you can see we've got somewhere around 3 inches maybe of gap between the tire, and then you can see the gap here, and we've got what, an inch and a half here, and tires are right with the frame. The body's just not mounted right. It's twisted, and they just, I guess when they built it, they got it off, and there's not much mounting it on whatsoever. Don't like, you know, some of the linkage and like the shifter, the fact that you don't have room for your feet if you got, you know, size 11 like I've got, And you know, if you're taller or bigger than that, then you definitely don't have any room. And just a lot of little stuff that I don't like about it. But I'm not into T-bucket style cars. You know, I've rode in them. I don't really like an open car. I've never, you know, in the sunlight it's hot. If it rains, you're, you know, screwed. It's just, especially something, you know, it's got a vinyl seat. So just like right now, the sun's shining like it is. You sit in that, you're going to burn, and then the sun's going to beam down on you. So we're going to make this into an enclosed car. We're going to keep this cowl. The cowl is where the VIN numbers are. The frame, this is a frame state, so really this VIN number on this cowl don't really matter as much, because the frame is what is VIN numbered and serial numbered here in North Carolina. And but because that's where they placed it there, and up here, we're not going to, you know, mess with that at all, which you're not supposed to anyway. We're just going to move the cowl forward, and we're going to change the back section of the body. So when this is done, this should be no longer really a rat rod. It'll be more of a hot rod. And if I, like I said, if I move the cowl forward 6 inches, open it up for the transmission or the bell housing, you know, that's going to allow us the right wheelbase to be able to get this body on. Now the body's rusty, it's terrible shape, but that's okay. That's what that's what I wanted to start with anyway. You know, I'm not going to go out and buy an expensive steel body that's nice and you know, do this with it. So most people would probably toss the body that I'm using. And while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and change this 3-speed out for a BorgWarner T5 5-speed. We're going to probably go with a Model A grill shell and probably change the radiator. Just because it's small and it runs, you know, 190 all the time. It's fine, but it's just, I think it's a one-row little Japanese radiator, and I'm not feeling it. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to change that out and try to make it look a little bit more traditional, and I think this will make a nice car. But let me show you the body that we're using and how rough it really is. Okay, here's what we got. We got it sitting upside down on the forklift, and the reason we've got it upside down is it was sitting on the frame, not mounted at all, and it was just flopping over and flopping off, and we had to pull it. So we've got it off. Now, I bought this at auction many years ago. I sold this body and then I bought it back. So it was in this same condition when I got it. It was folded up, you know, it's cracked really bad at the seams and stuff. It's not a big issue. You know, the basics are here to work with, and that's what we need. We need the windshield posts from the cowl up, the roof, the back section, and the rear quarters and the doors. And we've got everything we need right here to do what we want to do. Another thing too, that car, when they actually welded in and mounted the fuel tank, which is part of the cowl above at the top of the cowl, they mounted it in there. They didn't cut all of the fuel tank out, and it needs to cut all the way out for your leg room and stuff. And that's where your feet are getting jammed up and stuff. So while we're at it, when we get everything cleaned out of it and we're not worried about a fire, we're going to open that up and get rid of a lot of that extra fuel tank that don't need to be in there. And the doors will be fine. They've got a lot of rust. They've got rust up top, but it's going to work out good. And first thing we'll probably do is try to get this up there and get it stabilized. In other words, we'll do the measurements on the rear quarters, the distance apart. We'll go ahead and get I got some 1-inch tubing. We're going to get everything welded in and get it in place where it should be. I can see that there's no gap here at the door, so we know that the roof's pushed forward. We'll get the roof welded into the top good. Just brace and get everything alignment wise straight, and we'll do that with this cowl on there. Probably get the doors in place and weld them shut, and then we may place it on. I thought about putting the doors on the rat rod first and then putting the body around it, and we still may do that before it's over with, but we're going to see if there's one way or the other that's more of an advantage. I've got a go on the time wise on this thing. I'm not going to tell anybody yet what it is, but we're going to try to knock this out as fast as we can. This is not going to be a drawn out long project. We're going to get it up there. We're going to have it sitting there until it's finished, and they're at least drivable out of there, and at least has a windshield. So We will get on this very quick. So as soon as we get the 56 Golden Hawk out of the way, this is what's coming up there. Now we've got Noah's up there welding on the floors right now, so and I've got a little bit more interior work. We've got carpet coming, so it shouldn't be long at all. We'll get started on this. And I've had some, a lot of people since I've done that burnt car. I'm not sure if someone posted that somewhere on a website or what, but we've gotten a lot more views on that, a lot more thumbs down, a lot more, of the BS comments. I have no doubt it's going to get worse. It probably will never get better. But this shouldn't be a terrible job to do. We're starting with a car that's already a running, driving vehicle. So, basically we're just doing a partial body swap on it. So we'll see how this works out. I think we can do something and make it into a nice car, or a nice enough car for me. It don't take much to make me happy, you know that. So anyway, if you want to see this old rusty body turn into something, stay tuned. All right.